Welcome to the Handyman Pros Radio Show. Home improvement and maintenance tips from the pros.
Welcome to the Handyman Pros Radio Show Action Edition, where we feature feedback from you, our listeners. And I'm here with my old buddy, Larry. Larry, what you been doing this past week?
This week, I did some work. I must have hung, let's see, what did I hang? I hung about 6 rings. No,
hopefully
actually,
not yourself.
Ba-dum-bum. No, I did. I've been doing a lot of work hanging technology for whatever reason this week. I hung an alarm, 2 alarm lights, a couple of rings. I put in a wireless lock set. I hung a TV. It's been the week of Larry doing, technology type work, which is fine. I actually enjoyed it. It was something I do it fairly often. I just don't do it all that often. We did get it this week, John. We got an email from Joseph. Joseph asks, I've seen these HVAC air fresheners in the big box stores in HD. Do they work? And so we thought that was a pretty good tip, that we might throw out some tips about the air fresheners for your whole house if you desire to do such a thing.
Yeah, certainly. This is actually a good little topic, because I think a lot of people don't know they exist.
Right.
And they do work well. And Larry, we were in the one house that we had ozone out because a guy smoked in there for 10 years, and we did all kinds of things to try to eliminate that, which we did. And the final thing we did, the final touch on that, was to put one of these air fresheners in the HVAC filter, and they do work. So
I
when
wanted
the HVAC goes on, and it sucks the air through, and it just
freshens up the air.
And it blows it through your entire all the ductwork. And
so I wanted to describe what those are when we talk about those. So these are like they're you can find them in the usually in the air filter section of the big box stores, and they're sort of a large flat. Looks almost like a dryer sheet, but it's a little more dense than that. And you actually you attach it to your air filter when you put a new air filter into your HVAC system. So that's what we're describing here. And the short answer for Joseph is yes, those work. John and I wanted to put forth some other ideas for
alternatives.
Yep, alternatives.
So instead of getting into what I did, instead of getting into the air filter itself and putting that in there, I thought, well, you know what? I had, and some of you folks out there might have done this already. Like there's some products out there that you clip onto your car AC, and it's a little air freshener, like Febreze or whatever they make these things, and it's got some liquid in it. And so what I did is I had one of those things, and it was too strong for my car. Okay, way too strong for my car. And I actually clipped it onto my return duct on my HVAC in the house, and it works great. It's not overpowering. It's just enough. So every time the air conditioner goes on, this thing, it just sucks the air, and it's real. You just clip it right on the fins of the the return.
Oh, the air return.
The air return, and it works. And if your house is bigger, you just put 2 of them on there. They're like a buck, $1.50 or $2 a piece or something like that.
Yeah, what did we pay for that one that we put at that house, the flat one?
They're not. I think
it was pretty expensive, right?
So back to Joseph's question, they weren't very expensive. They're not expensive, but
wasn't it like $7 or $8 or something like that?
It might, it might be. It might be, but then you got to take your, if you don't incline to take your filters apart and everything, and this was just a different alternative. But none of this is very expensive, but they do work. And they do work well.
I've taken, and so on some of the rental houses, right, same kind of thing. You're just trying to make it freshen it up a little bit. I'll just take regular aerial, just the spray Febreze, and when the HVAC system is running, I'll just spray it into the air intake, and it disperses that scent, and it does its job pretty well. It's short term, but it works really well. It actually does work really well.
And I agree with you, and I've done that as well. But I thought, well, I'm going to try a little bit longer term thing and see how this works. And to my surprise, it worked great. And I'm like, hey, there you go. For a couple of dollars, I'm done. So,
John, are you helping everybody save time, money, and aggravation? Is that what you're telling them? Awesome.
Yeah, let me be succinct. It took me no time. It was very cheap, and it wasn't aggravating. So
it's the perfect home repair.
It was a perfect little solution.
All right, folks. Well, don't forget to join our Facebook group. That's at Handyman Pros, and join in the conversation, or send us an email, questions@handymanprosradioshow.com. And you can go to our homepage, and up on the right-hand corner, you can leave us a voice message as well. So we hope this tip has been useful, and we will talk to you next week. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've enjoyed this podcast and have derived some value from it, here's 4 things you can do. 1, tell your friends about this podcast. 2, hit subscribe on your podcast player. While you're there, leave us a review. 3, subscribe to our newsletter by going to handymanprosradioshow.com and click on the subscribe button. We'll inform you of upcoming events, shows, and give you actionable tips for maintaining your home and property. And 4, send us an email with your questions to questions@handymanprosradioshow.com. That's handymanprosradioshow.com. That's our show for this week. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week on the Handyman Pros Radio Show.